Good morning. It's May 12th, day 42 on the PCT. I didn't close things out last night because I was hiking in the dark, trying to find a campsite. I got my tent set up and I just went right to bed. This morning, kind of got off to a bad start. Things just weren't coming together, so I'm running a little bit later. It's about 6:30 maybe, and today I will be heading down into the desert. I'll be going through Hiker Town hopefully, and starting out into the desert. It's cold today, and the weather has gotten colder, so it was a little uncomfortable this morning, but it should be better for hiking in the desert. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Well, they say that those things that hurt instruct, and I would have to say the last 24 hours has been instructional. I was coming off of 2 0 days. Marta dropped me off mid-morning, I would say, yesterday, and I restarted my hike from Lake Hughes Road. It was actually about a 4,000 foot climb total, but originally Marta and I discussed it, and the idea for yesterday was I was going to go 10, 12 miles, take it easy, and maybe stop early, and just kind of ease back into it. Well, I didn't do that. I went 17 miles, a full 4,000 foot climb. I was out of water. There was a water tank which I was going to stop at to get water, but it was already too dark to actually even find the tank. I realized I had to focus on getting a campsite, and so I did get a campsite, and I set up in the dark. And of course then everything is hard to do, much harder to do in the dark, so I just decided to go to bed. And I decided, okay, and I'll get up early. I'll get up at 4 a.m. and I'll pack up and start hiking. Well, it didn't work out. Everything was off track by that point, and it took me too long to get out of camp. And I had some new gear. I had a new cold soak container that it wasn't working out right. It was having difficulty cleaning it. So everything was off, and then I had to go back, find the water tank, get the water, and now proceed with my hike. But I hadn't slept well. I was very stressed out, and of course this triggers the tachycardia problem that I have. Too much stress, too many things out of whack, and so I'm hiking, and I'm feeling extremely exhausted, and I had to stop. I've been stopped here for now the last hour and a half, just trying to assess things, get things reorganized, and now I'm going to start hiking slowly and just try to go through this whole 24-hour period and figure out what went wrong, why did it go wrong, what do I do in the future to prevent it, and get on with the hike. So anyway, I'll keep you posted. Yeah, yesterday when Marta dropped me off, we met a thru hiker trail named Punisher. I had heard about Punisher from, I believe it was Farmer John, who runs the Serenities Oasis campground in Agua Dulce. Very nice place to camp, by the way. He mentioned he was coming, and there was this guy sitting by the side of the road when Marta dropped me off yesterday, and she got to talking with him, and I was listening, and I thought, I think that's Punisher. And I said, what's your trail name? And sure enough, it said Punisher. And so I was keenly interested in this guy and his equipment and any insights he had to offer. So I was talking with him, and he showed me his gear. He's got a light AF backpack, which is like next to nothing. And I said, well, geez, do you have a sleeping pad? And he showed me he had an X-Lite small pads, which means that, of course, it's not really giving him any warmth, and the bottom half of his body is basically, hanging off of the end of the sleeping pad. But that's fine, that's not such a terrible thing. You can always put stuff underneath if you need to. And then I was curious about his and he had a thick pad to go under his air mattress to prevent it from puncturing. I said, well, do you have a sleeping quilt? What do you have? And he showed me I think it was a 20 or 30 degree quilt. And I looked at that thing, and it's like, yeah, well, that may be 20 or 30 degree, but it's not really rated for comfort at that temperature. I mean, I have a 20 degree bag at home, and it's a lot more substantial than his was. So, but mine was from Hammock Gear, and Hammock Gear says they stuff their quilts and they rate them for comfort, not for basic survival. And so I got to thinking, well, he can probably tolerate an uncomfortable night's sleep. I can't. I get pretty bad sleep as it is, and to be cold and not comfortable in the bag, that's just like, you might as well not sleep at all. So, and I said, well, you have a tent? And he said, yeah, he had a tent. I think it was, I forgot which one it was, but it was probably very similar to my Plex Solo. And I asked him, well, how much food do you carry? And I think he carries maybe 2 days max or something. I said, well, what about resupply? He gave the example of going into Julian. So you would go into Julian from Scissors Crossing, and he said he's pretty lucky. He got into Julian and back out to trail in 35 minutes. Well, that's quite an astounding feat right there. And he like a lot of the ultralighters, he's got his Sawyer squeeze, just permanently attached to a 1 liter water bottle. I think it was a 1 liter, it might have been 1.5. And I think he had one other water bottle. Well, I said something like, I guess you move so fast that you outrun dehydration. He didn't really say anything about that, but anyway, it's like, you gotta envy these people that can move that fast. I mean, this is his third time doing the PCT, I think he said, and so far he's done what I've done in a little less than half the time. So he's moving super fast, so and then I think, well, yeah, I can go faster, I can do more, but the fact is there's some limitations that I need to remind myself about. um, for example, my gear, I have I have a backpack that weighs 5.5 pounds about, and the reason I have that backpack is because I can't I can't stand the ultralight backpacks. They're so uncomfortable. They make my shoulders sore, my hips sore, everything just sore. Um, and also, my like I said, my sleeping quilt is rated for 10 degrees, and it's 10 degrees for a reason, because um, I want to be comfortable and not just you know prevented from dying of hypothermia. Um, and the same way with my puffer. I didn't ask to see his puffer jacket, but I'm sure it's pretty much along the lines of the rest of his gear. It's probably weighs 7 or 8 ounces, and it's enough to keep you from not dying at certain temperatures. But I have a puffer that weighs almost a pound, and it's to keep me comfortable at sub freezing temperatures. Um, stuff like that. Anyway, it means that my gear, my basic gear, is substantially heavier, and the backpack, just added on to that to get the comfort, because I don't want to be, just in pain while I'm hiking. But once you start adding on all of these features to make your hike comfortable, you're also kind of limiting your speed. You're going to take a lot of pounding on your joints, as I found out the other day, trying to go down a mountain fast. I mean, I'm still my right arthritic knee is still talking to me about that. But yeah, so you have to go slower. And then the other thing is, this guy's less than half my age, and I find the guy kind of inspiring, but I need a reality check. I'm 70 years old. I just, on a 1 day basis, I've proven that I can keep up with people that are a lot younger than I am. But on a through hike like this, forget it. Geez, I'm gonna kill myself if I try to operate like a guy like that does. So I have to keep these things in mind. I have to remember that I'm going to be out here a lot longer than that guy is, and I have to enjoy that reality and accept that reality. And I just, so far, apparently I haven't totally done that. Yesterday I should have stuck to the maybe 10-mile restart of my hike, instead of plowing through 17 miles, going into the darkness, and then just having everything all disrupted, because it's just so much harder to get anything done in the dark, especially when it's getting cold out. So yeah, today's kind of like reality check day, and so I'm thinking about that a lot. Yeah, another thing is, because I am moving slower, times between resupply locations are longer, which means I have to carry more food, which again means more weight. The same applies for moving between water resupply locations. I kind of have to carry more water because I'm exposed to the environment could be hot and very sunny, longer. So all this means my weight is heavier, which means more impact on joints, and which also means I have to have a more comfortable pack. Looks like we're finally getting somewhere here. Lots of flowering shrubs here. I don't know what kind of snake you are, but I'm not gonna mess with you, that's for sure. Well, that's interesting. I tapped my trekking poles on the ground a couple of times and it scurried away. Well, that's Highway 138. It runs right along there. I'm guessing one of those places is Hiker Town. Well, looks like there's one more up and over before the desert. Or maybe we got 2 or 3 more up and overs before the desert. Just when you thought you were going to get to Hiker Town, a snake enters the picture. This doesn't make much sense to me. So the trail comes down. The trail comes down from that hill, right down there. And then it would simply be a matter of cutting straight across there and going out it. Instead, the trail comes down here, and it goes along over here, and then it cuts back through there, and it climbs back up onto this hill. And I imagine on the other side, it's just going to, oh, I see, it's going to go up and over that hill, and then I assume it'll go down unless there's another hill. Well, I don't know what to say. I'm pretty sure many people just cut right out to that road and go straight out to the 138. And the reason I say that is because they've done it in other places. Why wouldn't they do it here? Okay, I just came from over there around here, and now I see the trail is going to go out around all of these hills. I can see the trail over there. I can see the trail going up over there. And it looks like it's just going to go over all of these before it dumps out into the desert. So maybe 5-6 miles you could bypass by just doing a shortcut down there. I mean, I'm doing it, but I don't know if it doesn't seem to make much sense to me. I suppose you could argue that it's all part of the Pacific Crest. And that seems like a legitimate argument. But what ends up happening is people that I was keeping up with are now considerably ahead, and I'm trying to play catch up. And I guess I've just decided, well, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just gonna hike my own hike, and I'll get there when I get there. Well, looks like PCT hikers are not in season. Woohoo! Well, that's weird. That's the first thing like that I've seen on one of these shrubs. But I do see these things. It's kind of like they grow some sort of a fruit, I guess. First one I've seen. Interesting. Here's another one. And then I look over here and I see that. Wonder why I never noticed this before. Well, I just rounded another hill, and there's some bigger hills over here before you get to those smaller hills, so you know what that means. So it looks like we're going to go around and back over there, and then we're going to go up there, and there might be some other bigger hills up there for all I know. Let's go find out. Okay, now that I rounded that hill, it looks like the trail's going to go back somewhere into that corner back there, and then it comes back out. You can see it over there. Yeah, then it goes up there, and it does something around the corner of that hill. I guess I can mention that while doing one of these bonus hills, I stepped on some loose sand and went down right on my butt, right on the edge of the trail. One of my water bottles popped out and went down the hill, and my backpack was kind of trying to push me over the edge. So I kind of struggled in that situation and finally got the backpack under control, and then I had to go down the kind of slippery, sandy embankment to retrieve the water bottle and then try to scramble back up. I just kind of hauled all my stuff away from the sketchy ledge and sat there for a few moments to reflect on my experience. A little bit of type 2 fun. Anyway, now I have a kind of a sore tailbone. Okay, I rounded the last corner, and now it looks like the trail continues along the side of this hill up to the next corner over there. So let's see. Okay, rounded that corner, and it looks like we're still continuing on along the side of this hill. Of course, we're going back away from the desert again. It looks like the trail goes off over there, and then I don't know where it goes from there. Let's find out. Okay, I went around the next corner. Looks like the trail's dropping down a bit, which means we're probably doing the setup for another climb. Okay, so the trail goes out that way some distance, then it switches back, looks like into this corner, and then it switches back and it goes all along down there, and then it looks like it goes around that hill over there, then goes down, and then goes out over there behind that hill. Let's see. Alright, we've now descended down almost to the level of the desert, but I doubt we're done yet. I see trail over there, and why would we not include all of these hills to get over there? Alright, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I found this day to be exceedingly tedious and boring. And on top of that, I didn't have a very good night's sleep last night, and my butt is sore, and I'm worn out. I'm exhausted. I think I'm just going to call it right here and finish these other hills in the morning and head on to Hikertown, hopefully refreshed with a couple of meals in me and a good night's sleep. That would be great. So I'll keep you posted. Okay, it's about 5:30. I'm in my tent. I got some dinner cold soaking here, and I'm thinking the plan is, after I have dinner, try to get some sleep, maybe hopefully around 7 o'clock I can, or even earlier, get to bed and get some sleep, and then wake up maybe 2 in the morning, pack up. I'll be out of here by 3. Take me about an hour to get to Hikertown, get water, and then head out into the desert. I'm checking the weather forecast right now, but I think it's going to be somewhat cool. And I've checked the water sources. Should be no problem. I've got plenty of carrying capacity. So anyway, that's the plan. I'll keep you posted. Did you hear that? I hear that a lot out here. Wonder what it is. Anyway, that's a wrap for day 42 on the PCT. I want to just say it was an okay day. I got some very bad sleep last night after pushing too hard yesterday, and I really got off to a kind of a miserable start. I did recover somewhat. I had some reflection on some of the issues that caused the problems today, and I'll be making some changes. Um, and I guess it kind of came out a little bit. I was getting a little frustrated toward the end, going over all these silly little hills when I could see the desert right there, and yet it seemed like the PCT was deliberately avoiding going there. And anyway, that was frustrating. It was boring. It was really boring. And so I called it because I'm going to try and get a decent night's sleep, and then tomorrow morning hopefully head out into the desert. So good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.